Hey, what's up, everybody? It's your favorite Grumpy Geek back on the scene here today to talk about some Luke Cage. For me, it was hard not to fall in love with Luke Cage when the character was first introduced in Jessica Jones, even though I didn't really like that series all that much. For me, I didn't really know who Luke was at the time. I didn't really follow him in the comics in my childhood, and not really as an adult. I know of a couple storylines that he participated in, and I know of his character, but I really didn't know that much about him. But after seeing him in Jessica Jones, you kind of get the feeling that, he was strong, he was compassionate, and he was funny in his own way. The character in Jessica Jones we saw, he was dealing with some serious emotional trauma, but that made him the perfect companion for Jessica, who was also at the time struggling with her own pain. Now, Luke Cage is set to headline his own Netflix series premiering September 30th on Netflix, and it'll completely upend everything you thought you knew about superhero shows. In my opinion, I think Luke Cage is the hero that the world needs right now. As a television show, of course, Luke Cage's first job is to entertain the audience. But like some of the very best series of all times, it's going to have to reflect the current times. Situated in Harlem, Luke's journey will be a personal one. He is returning to his home after losing his wife, formed a complicated relationship with Jessica Jones, and after being used by a weapon by Kilgrave. Now he's going to find that not even his home is safe. In season 1, Luke will be a hero whose primary focus is protecting Harlem, and the importance of a superhero show telling a story about a black man protecting his predominantly black neighborhood cannot be overstated. One of the reasons I believe this is because there just aren't enough positive on-screen representations of black men, especially in pop culture superhero genre these days. Luke, though, he should change all that, since he's a hero who stands up for himself and fights for those who cannot protect themselves. In a sea of white male superheroes with black sidekick friends, Luke stands out as the star of his own story. The show will be seen entirely from his perspective, allowing him to be flawed, courageous, and deeply human at the same time, when TV features very few black male characters in a strong, positive leading role. Another reason I think Luke Cage is a show that the world needs right now is because it's probably going to tackle a lot of issues that have to do with injustice. And as we all know, this past year has been full of devastating stories of police brutality against black Americans. Asking a TV show to change how the world works, however, is not fair, but I think in his drive for justice, Luke will offer a catharsis to many people who are frustrated with real life right now. The character may even inspire some viewers to search for peaceful ways to enact change, and that can never be a bad thing in my opinion. There's so much going on in this world that being able to escape into some of these stories and relate to some of these characters are a huge benefit to society. And when you step back and you look at the current political rhetoric in the election this year, frustration is inevitable just on that level. At times, stuff like that makes the future look bleak. And giving up is not an option, though, and I think a character like Luke Cage will make that clear to the audience. He's been through more trauma and pain than most people experience in a lifetime, but he keeps just picking himself up. So if he can keep dealing with so much loss and still find a reason to fight, then so can everyone else. And I believe portraying that in this medium, in the genre, using this character as the vehicle is the perfect way to do that. On top of that, the show will force people who are not of color to explore cultures, and it will force people to question their beliefs and their ideologies towards the idea of culture. And opening that discussion can only make the world a better place as we go forward, I feel like. The city of Harlem is a character unto itself in real life. So grounding the series in such a unique and vivid place will allow viewers who know the culture of Harlem to see themselves reflected back, while also teaching other viewers about a part of New York they may not know much about. Exploring cultures in an era when the world seems to be closing more doors than it is opening can only lead to good things in my eyes. And once again, it's one of the things I look forward to seeing from this show as it gets ready to debut on September 30th. I think one of the biggest things that stands out to me when thinking about this Luke Cage series is that I think it will remind people why they need heroes in their communities. The big look for this series to me is at some point Luke Cage is going to realize that his community needs a hero. And communities are so powerful that they provide love, support, and a safe place to land when you need one. I'm hoping that this show is going to serve as a wonderful reminder as why you should value your community, whether it's your family, friends, or neighborhood, and hopefully get some ideas turning about how to make communities stronger and more unified than they are today. because it feels like, you know, the world is kind of in shambles. Everybody's on one side or the other. Everybody's drawing lines in the sand, and it's just all division and no unity. Not only that, forgetting about all that other stuff, it's just past time for Hollywood to tell a diverse superhero story in my eyes. The superhero genre has been mostly devoted to almost exclusively telling the stories of straight white men on the big and small screen for way too long. Characters like Luke and Jessica can change the world just by setting up and getting a positive response from audiences. They open the door for other non-traditional superheroes to make their way on screen, so eventually every person, no matter their race, religion, gender, or size, can see themselves reflected in popular culture. And that's all any of us want. You know what I mean? So in the end, just appreciate the gift of Luke Cage. He's arriving at the exact moment when he's needed most. A black superhero cleaning up the streets of Harlem to make it safe for the people who live there is not something you see on TV every day. So of course this series will challenge people to move out of their comfort zones and see the world from a new perspective. And I think that's something worth getting exciting about. I think that's something worth promoting. I think that's something worth putting out here into the world for other people to enjoy. So with that being said, I'm gonna go ahead and just sign off. If you found any value in this video, please drop a like on the video, subscribe to the channel, please share with all your friends and all that good stuff. If you want to follow me on any of the social media outlets, the links to those spots are in the description down below, and I'll holler at you guys next time. Take it easy, much love, and be easy. Peace.